this fall. Are you looking for a new fall TV show to watch that has a little bit of thrills, a little bit of romance, some action up in there as well, some sci-fi as well, some horror, and a tad bit of racism? Well, I have the show for you, and that is HBO Max's Lovecraft Country. I know it came out last year in 2020, but you probably haven't watched that if you're watching this video right here. So let me talk to you guys about it today on this episode of Bars and Joysticks, and you will thank me after this video because once you watch it, you're gonna be like, "Damn, I should have seen this when it came out. This is hot. This is that thing." And it truly is amazing. Now, I don't plan on spoiling very much of the show at all. I personally watched it when it already came out, like a year before I watched it. I watched it earlier this year in 2021, and it came out 2020. But I didn't get it spoiled for myself, so I'm not going to spoil it for you either very much. I'm just going to give you like a brief overview of like what I liked about the show. So if you guys are like kind of like anti-spoilers, then don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it too bad. Alright, so a brief overview of the show is that it's based on a character named Atticus. He's coming back from the Korean War as a veteran, coming back to his hometown of Chicago on the south side where black people live. And pretty much he finds out that his dad, his alcoholic father named Montrose, has gone missing. And so he goes out to find him, along with his uncle, who's a green book writer. So green books are like those books that they gave black people back during like the Jim Crow era, and they'd like navigate throughout small towns, be like, all right, don't be here after sundown. So he goes with his uncle George, and as well as like a childhood friend of his named Letitia. All right, brief spoiler. She eventually becomes a love interest. Ha 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 ha. But that's so obvious in the first episode. I'm not even gonna spoil that much of the first episode. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. I won't. Anyway, so pretty much like they go along and trying to find where his dad went because his dad's looking for clues on like his baby mom, so Atticus's mother's past, right? Cause she has like a very like suspicious and very strange eclectic past, so he's trying to figure out more about her. And along the way, like you kind of get to figure out who like Letitia and Atticus and Uncle George really are during the first episode. They run into some racism pretty early on, like pretty damn early. But all the characters, you fall in love with them pretty quickly. Like those characters, like gosh dang, the acting is so good. So Jonathan Majors, you know the guy that played Kang, yeah, in Loki. Um, he started off well. He didn't start off. He's been acting for a long time. But before that, he was Atticus in Lovecraft Country. Journey Smollett, you don't know who that is. That's Jessie Smollett's little sister. She plays Letitia. And a few other like big name actors play different roles in the show. And I gotta tell y'all, it's a great show. The acting is fantastic. All the characters are so well written. Like each character has their own flaw and their own like endearing piece about them. Like for example, like Jonathan Majors is Atticus, right? The main character. He was a piece of shit during the Korean War. That guy was like a huge asshole. Like I'm not gonna spoil much, but damn, bro. I understand why he got PTSD, dickhead. Um, Letitia, played by Jodie Smollett, she's kind of like a I don't want to say like a con artist, but she's like a frequent liar to her family. She has like a lot of good sides too. Like she really does care about her community. Um, but you know, she's also kind of like super dishonest to her family and stuff. Montrose, the guy who's Atticus's father, he's like an alcoholic and kind of like a dick, but you kind of understand why later on in the show, like why it came out that way. Um, Uncle George is awesome. There's no flaw with Uncle George. He's just based. I'm trying to think of other characters without spoiling too much. Yeah, so all you just gotta take my word for it, all right? Just watch the damn show. That's all I gotta say. I can't spoil too much, all right? I'm not telling y'all too much. All right, so I'm gonna run down a list of things that I really liked about the show that I think makes this show stand out compared to other shows that you can be watching during the fall season, but I know you won't be getting at those shows. You'll only get with Lovecraft Country. All right, just to name a few. Let's go. All right, so the cinematography is awesome. Love it. A lot of those shots are really beautiful. They really take you back in time to the 50s and then even to the 20s during certain segments of the show when they're doing flashbacks and stuff like that. I also liked how mysterious it was. I'm someone that like when I watch a show, I'll look for a spoiler. Like I'll type in, "Yo, wiki, tell me where the spoiler is." But for this one, I knew if I didn't, look for spoilers, and I would really find something sweet and special and beautiful. And I truly did. It threw me for a loop. I was on the edge of my seat during certain parts of times, and I'm not usually like that with shows. I just digest and get through. Um, the story, freaking amazing. I know that kind of goes with like the mystery and not spoiling, but I just want to say it a second time that just the story's friggin' awesome. Well done. It's so dynamic. It's so friggin' dynamic. Like during the third episode, you kind of get like a monster of the week type vibe, but that gets like that gets like demolished pretty quickly. It's so dynamic, like how awesome, like where the show will take you, and what goes on, and just like fleshing out certain characters in their past. And the prose and the dialogue is so good as well. Oh my gosh, episode 7. And I'm not saying anything about episode 7 besides that the where they take it during episode 7 is so crazy. Where they take it during the Emmett Till episode. There's an alright, another spoiler, there is an Emmett Till episode. Um which is pretty freaking wild. And like it's just so well written. Oh my gosh, man. Some of those I don't know if those are some of the quotes in that show were just so good. And I said it a million times. I don't know if Matt Ruff's the author of the book series was the writer for that, or if that was just something that was added for the HBO show. But it's just so well done, man. Dynamic characters. Oh, also like I really enjoyed like not just the characters, but just like the African American like themes of like the 1950s and 1920s um, that were going on in the show. You don't see that very often. Usually, when you see a piece like a show that's during like the 1950s, it's either like if it's historical fiction, it's just gonna circle around like white people. It's gonna circle around. If it has black people, it's just gonna be something really boring, like some sort of like Porgy and Bess type of drama. And I don't give a fuck about that. What I care about is dynamic like action and sci-fi elements, and they put this in it so well. Like when I say that these characters are super lovable and like so endearing in their own way. Like there's this one character, Deanna D. She's like a 14-year-old girl, but she loves comic books and like fictional stories. And like you'll see her write up her own like African American comic heroine. And just like seeing like her creations in the show is like really cool. I think that's a really nice touch. Like you don't when we think about people during like the 1950s, we don't think about like nerds, right? Like this show legitimately has black nerds from the 1950s, and it's tight. It's tight. Yeah. There's also like an Emmett Till episode, and you don't see this coming at all. But they, if you know what to look for, like if you have a historical background, then you'll know that the Emmett Till episode might be coming like very early on. I didn't know. I got hit by surprise. I was like, wait, that what what? That's literally like how I like saw it. There's a Tulsa episode where they I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to spoil this little one. Um, where they go to like back in time because like Montrose is like the father of Atticus, and Montrose's brother, Uncle George, and Montrose's mom were all survivors. Not Montrose's mom, but Atticus's mom were all survivors of the Tulsa race riots, right? So it goes back to the Tulsa race riot and just like kind of like a flashback episode is what I like to call it. And that's intense. That's crazy, but it's character building, and it makes you love those characters even more. Um, the concept of green books, you don't really see too much of that. For a show called Lovecraft Country, and HP, just to double back for a quick second, HP Lovecraft was like notoriously anti-Semitic and racist. Like this guy was so racist that he scared other racists by how racist he was. Like dead ass. Like from his like straight from his wiki, like people would quote him and be like, he saw a Jewish guy walking down the street and he just got so scary. Right after he saw that Jewish guy, he was so mad looking at a Jewish person. Like that like he literally scared other Semites and racists because of how racist he was. Um so in the show there's like hella racism. If you get like disturbed by seeing that, then like that's your fair warning right there. That's that trigger warning, content warning, whatever you need. I highly recommend watching the show, but damn, that show gets intense at sometimes. Like it's literally like the first episode, they're going on a green book journey. They're like making a green book, You know, they're adding certain things to the green books and updating the green book logs. Um, so yeah, and they be saying a hard R too. They'll be like, "Get out here, Eric! Get out here, boy!" And they're like, "Bah, yeah!" And like it's shit's fucking insane. It's fucking crazy. And I also liked like it even made time to like bring up race relations towards like Asian characters. So during like a flashback episode where Atticus is still in the Korean War, one of his comrades, is that the right word for soldiers that are allies? Like comrades, it's like an Asian American guy. And they're having a conversation with a Korean woman. And the Korean woman was like, "Wait, so if you're Asian, if they hate Asian people at the United States and they hate black people, why not like I don't know about black people over here, but like why not you, like Asian person, just come over to Korea?" And then the Korean guy's like, "Yo, like I'm an outsider in Korea, I'm an outsider in the United States. There is no true home for me." And I was like, "Damn, bro, whew, whew, bars." Like, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like it's well written in a way that's not super corny. Like this isn't like an after school special, bro. This is like HBO. They have titties in the show, bro. They have titties, bro. And it's historical, nigga. Shit. Even though the show's great, I just want to set expectations just to set them, you know? Like super high expectations is like kind of like the key to being dissatisfied. I want you guys satisfied watching the show. I want you guys perfectly right there satisfied. And I just gotta pre-warn you before you fall in love with any of this. Just know it's only gonna be one season. There's not a season 2 coming. It's already been confirmed by multiple people. One of the major actors in the show, Michael K. Williams, passed away earlier this year. The material of the show went beyond the material of the book. Apparently, that it's just not gonna happen, bro. It's just not happening. Just enjoy season 1 for what it is. Make it just like Undecided or Freaks and Geeks. You know how those shows are great, but they're only one season. Firefly, great one season. That's the same story over here. There's just not gonna be another sequel. There's not gonna be like a grand wrap up, and it does end on a cliffhanger. It's a very. I'm not saying what happens, but it's just like such a what the fuck type cliffhanger. But you're gonna love it. All right, you will. I will promise you that you will love it. Watch the first episode. Let me know how you think. My name's Taj at Bars and Joysticks. We have more culture and video game and hip hop and politic type conversations and content coming up in the future. Check out some of the videos that are coming on right here and right here. And I think we're gonna put like a subscribe button somewhere like right here as well. So make sure to check those out. Taj Bin John with Bars and Joysticks. Follow us, nigga. Hey.